Hi, I'm Mona from Change Capability. In another video, we talked about the SCARF model, so status, certainty, autonomy, relatedness, and fairness, which was developed by David Rock, and it talks to the core social needs that we all have, and the reason why it's important in the workplace and for you to know as a leader is if we want to be kinder in the workplace, make kinder decisions, have more psychological safety, and then as a result have higher performing teams and optimize our workplace culture, we need to take these social motivators and these core social needs into consideration, especially when we're changing the ways of working. So when we want people to carry out a new procedure or policy, or we want them to behave differently with customers, we want them to use different software, or even we want them to come into the office and work for a few days instead of working remotely, or vice versa. Any kind of change that we want to make, it's really helpful to know as a leader and even as a colleague what some of these core social needs are. So the first one, status, we'll go through in this video, is about protecting and elevating our sense of self-worth. And why it matters is that changing anything in the workplace can threaten people's perceived status. So status could be things like my position title. Maybe I've attached some kind of identity to my position title. Maybe the team that I'm in carries out a function that to me has some kind of status. So whether it's status in the community, status in my family, status amongst my friendship group, in my industry, or even just in limited to the business, to the team and the organization. So if we're changing the team, the function, the position title, or maybe someone had direct reports and now they no longer have any direct reports. So there might not be a financial impact, but there's a perceived status change that they're no longer leading people. This can make people feel undervalued. It can threaten their sense of identity if they've attached identity around the status, which a lot of people do. And as I'm saying this, think about what you attach your identity to as a leader. And it can also make people feel less competent. So, some of the things that people might think about is, have they removed this from my role because I'm not competent enough? Do they think that I can't do the job? So these are the things that can make people feel like they're losing status. And the way as a leader you can work through this is to support people to think of it as a gain. So how are they going to gain status? By this change that you're making. And you might not think of anything. And so in which case you really want to make sure you acknowledge the contributions this leader has had in the team, in the position, in your business, their expertise, and how they can continue to contribute and share their expertise in the new role that they're in, or the new position title. You also want to make sure there's continued growth opportunities and career pathways for this person. So if you've actually moved them into a role where there's no longer any career progression or visible career progression, that's something you need to have a proactive conversation with the person about if they're not comfortable coming to you proactively. And also celebrate all their wins. So if you are changing something significantly, do celebrate it. So along with acknowledging it, if there's a group of people that have changed their position title or changed their status somehow, how can you celebrate the work that they've done and the work that they will continue to do to ensure that their sense of self and identity isn't too highly impacted? Of course, this is work that the individual needs to also do within themselves. And if you have coaches on hand that can support people, or even as a leader, you can create awareness around status and identity, and ask positive strength-based questions from the person around, has this impacted your perceived sense of identity? Or go through the SCARF model and ask them, how can I support you through this? What have you noticed? What responses have you noticed coming up for you in regards to any of the core social needs? So I'll continue this video series with certainty coming up next.